Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you receive a lot of blessing throughout the new year. It is 2018, you know. So this year, well, I started from last year December. I wanted to give my year a theme. I have titled my 2018 as Exploring Who I Am, because I am a lot of things. I am a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a niece, a friend, a cousin, a lover, my best friend, and the list goes on. But even though I'm all of that, do I really know who I am? There are times when I do believe I know who I am, and there's times when I don't know who I am, what I want to do with my life, or where I'm going with my life. I don't know if you understand. When I was younger, basically my life was whatever my parents wanted it to be. I remembered when I was in high school, and in my high school you had to choose VOCs in 9th grade, and for my VOCs I chose business and art. I didn't even wanted to choose business. I wanted to do cosmetology and art, and my mother wouldn't allow me to do cosmetology and art. She said I could choose one for myself, and then I'd have to definitely do business, because I guess all of my siblings, not all, but most of my siblings did business as well. We had a conversation and I was so upset because, as I stated before, I wanted to do cosmetology and art. My mother and I guess my father wanted me to do business and whatever else I would choose, because the main focus was that I would do business. I ended up putting for my first choice business, and then my second choice was art, and then my third choice was cosmetology. So I remember giving my teacher the slip of paper, and I so wanted them to say that business administration was full and I had to do cosmetology and art. However, I ended up doing business and art. That is when my love for art grew a bit more. I was always creative. I always scribbled in the back of my book, draw, and wrote poems. I remember having a book filled with poems, and I would draw like pieces of art and then writing poem based on the piece of art that I drew. Then after doing art and business in 9th grade, you would have to, in 10th to 11th grade, have a main focus. I guess what you do is figure out what you wanted to do in 9th grade, if it was to focus on whichever VOC you choose. So it was either focusing on business or focusing on art for me, because those were my two VOCs. And I really wanted to do art at that point in my life, but my mommy said that I had to choose business, so I ended up doing business. I did that because, of course, my parents said I had to do it, and at that point in my life I was not rebellious as yet, so I chose to do it. Well, they chose it for me and I just did it. When I finished with high school, I went to an institute that focused on business, so I did accounting for a year, and during that time the institute partnered with Sims International, and it was like we had to assist with the production. That's where I fell in love with mass communication. At the time it was like, wow, I could really do something like this. I remember the day when my father asked me what I was going to do, and I told him that I wanted to do mass communication at Northern Caribbean University, and he was like, why would I choose that over business? I was determined to prove him wrong. At that point, my mother was not trying to push me into doing anything that I did not want to do. I guess because I was pushing from high school that is not what I wanted to do, and then I went to this institute and I was doing the same thing and I didn't want to do it. So I guess she gave up on pushing me to do business. So she was like, you choose whatever you want to and it will work out. I was a bit rebellious in my life, I can say that now. I was a bit rebellious because a lot of things was happening throughout that time in my life where I wanted to just stand for something. Like, I wanted to have a choice in one thing that was going on in my life. So at that point, I kind of just said, you know what, I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do, and that's up to you whether or not you want to support me, yes or no. So I guess because of that, he didn't really support me throughout university. Some of my video clips got corrupted, so I'm sorry about that, guys. However, what I was getting at with this story is that most of my life has been planned out for me by others. So I do believe it's time that I figure out what I really want to do with my life, and that is what this year is for me, to figure out who I am. So let's fast forward to last year. So throughout all of last year, I don't know if I knew who I was. I was just going with the phase because after finding out that I had PCOS, it was like my world had to change around in a split second. So I guess because of that, in December I chose to evaluate myself, figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and made a plan. In the beginning of the year, which is January 1st, I got some horrible news. Nothing about me, but something about somebody that I really not going to cry, like somebody that I really love. I just have horrible news about somebody that I really love. When the person told me what was what, it's like everything that I had planned for the year kind of changed. Like, I had so many plans. Everything was basically thought out for my year. Like, legit thought it out. My year had focus, had aims, and then on January 1st, like, my entire year was shattered, right? And on the day after, because that was January 1st, January 2nd, I woke up and I don't know what I was doing, but I went on my WhatsApp and I made a status. I basically said, I guess my first test is being strong. And I definitely think my first test is being strong, because I no longer can be just strong for myself, but I have to be strong for that person as well. And when I got the news, I don't even know if my boyfriend has ever seen me cry the way I cried that day. Like, the afternoon of January 2nd, I was like, I need to explore who I am, because for one, life is short and you never know when your days are numbered. But I do believe this year has a lot in store for me. A lot, and when I say a lot, I mean I would hope mostly good. But if there is something bad, I have now said to myself that I will take it as a lesson. So just like how I got that bad news and I saw or see that my lesson is to be strong, I am going to take every other bad news with a lesson, and even the good ones as well. And when I say I'm exploring who I am, I'm not being mean. I'm not saying that I'm going to be selfish and it's going to be all about me. It's not. Exploring who I am is ensuring that those titles that I have will not only be titles but be something that I can say, yes, I'm actually accomplishing who I am. So it's not as if I'm going to be selfish, but I am just going to ensure that I protect who I am and my titles. I want my titles to have meaning, and I want people to see that I'm using my titles, and I'm going to allow my friends and families to play their part as well, because I can say that I know that I'm the type of person who tends to not show or allow people in. I know I'm that type of person, and I am trying to improve on that. And with improving on that, I will have to allow people to actually play their part as much as I want to play my part. So exploring who I am for 2018 is I'm starting in 2018. That doesn't mean I'll end in 2018, but exploring who I am for 2018 is something that I am focused on, and I'm going to try to do. I'm going to end this video now, but 2018, exploring who I am is nothing that anybody should be afraid of. It's nothing that is going to be selfish, but it's something that is going to be selfless.